broad question. Give me an answer. What did you think of the 2022 season?
I feel like we did this already.
I want it more in depth. I want some hard hitting
Solid
stuff
to a point.
I want details, not solid to a point. That's like 3 words.
All right.
Like 4 words.
All right. We'll do details. Super Speedway Racing. Fine. It was fine. Too much of it. Absolutely too much of it. 6 races is way too many.
All right. So, Talladega sucked. Let's get that real quick. If we're starting off talking about Super Speedway, Talladega sucks. Super Speedway package not very good. Talladega sucks.
I don't hate it that much. It's not that different from like early to mid 2000s.
It is very different.
It produces a similar product to the early 2000s.
No, it doesn't.
In what way?
You can form a third lane if need be. You cannot form a third lane. You are stuck.
That's fair, but we've gotten more back to needing to kind of build a run, which is what we did early in the 2000s, and that was better than what we had past few years.
I mean, I agree. I don't like, just slam drafting and wrecking the shit out of people. But you can't form a third line if you need be. I feel like you're almost not in as much control of your own destiny. Because you're kind of just in lockstep if you're not in the first like 1 or 2 rows. Whereas in, the old package, you were in control of your own destiny. You can make moves, you can make passes. You can't do that in the Super Speedway package, especially at Talladega. Daytona's a little bit different because it's narrower, something to do with the side force, whatever. You can run, 3 wide for whatever reason. There's a technical reason behind it that we talked about that I don't remember because I'm a couple beers deep and some liquor drink.
Because if you get on the third lane at Daytona, you get some of that side force back from the wall because you're not 2 lanes from it like you are at Talladega.
All right, well, I'm glad you knew. And then
Atlanta's a joke. I'm sorry.
I won't call it a joke, but I would imagine it's 50-50 as far as the fan base, whether it's a downgrade or an upgrade from what we used to have. I mean, obviously we're a little bit more racing purist, you to an extreme. You obviously are going to hate this. I don't love it. I wish we could have figured out a better alternative for Atlanta and the repave and the reconfiguration. But what we have, fine. I would rather have the old Atlanta, but it's entertaining to watch in person. We definitely don't need 500 miles of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we're not going to have anymore, thank God.
It was definitely entertaining, and as someone who's never liked Super Speedway racing, but I wouldn't say never liked. When I was younger, I definitely liked it, but
when it was good.
When I was younger.
When it was good, you liked it.
I guess. Even when I go back, I'm like, okay, if we had this race today, like I love the 2006 Daytona 500. If we had that race today, the fan base would riot. They would hate that fucking race.
I don't think they would riot as much as you think they would. I think a lot of people kind of like that.
I don't know how different that.
I'll have to go back and watch it. But anyway,
it's fair. I don't know how much different that would have been to this year's fall Talladega race. Because you couldn't exactly.
I just explain.
Yeah, well, I think you're off because you couldn't exactly like Jimmy Johnson controlled the last 50 laps of that race from the lead. It wasn't like you could, or that might be an exaggeration, but if you were farther back than 10th, you couldn't really like control your own destiny in that way.
It was more of like the early 2000s, early to mid, like 2006, 7 I don't feel like were as good. Like I didn't feel like 6 or 7 were as good. The Daytona was a little bit different because of how rough Daytona was, and so that made it more entertaining. But once they repaved Talladega and even Daytona in the 500 and 06 and 05 or get 06. It just, I don't know, whatever, because they used to change the plates up in the spoiler package every other year. It just didn't, it wasn't as good to me, at least. I thought the 01, 02, 03, well, 02 kind of, 04, 05 were kind of the golden years, I feel like, in my opinion. Let's
Yeah.
move on. Road courses.
Road courses sucked.
Yeah, they sucked. Coda was great. Coda was fantastic.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and I'm glad you just agreed that Coda was fantastic because you spent 3 episodes straight talking about how terrible it actually was.
I didn't say it was terrible.
Well,
no, hang on, real quick. Coda was the first next gen race at a road course. It will not be that way when we go back.
I beg to differ because I think that Coda provides multi-groove racing at a road course. And you can run in different, it is wide, you can run different lines, cross under guys. There's not a real like perfect line around Coda. Like if you watch, who was it, Ryan Blaney and whoever qualified second, was it not Daniel Suarez, whoever qualified first and second, they qualified within like a couple inches of each other. If you look at Dartfish on a 4 mile or however long, what, 3 mile, 3 mile road course, 2 and
About
some
3
change,
miles.
yeah, whatever road course.
Yeah.
And they ran completely different lines throughout the entire course. So I think that plays into it because you have ways to get out of the wake and the dirty air of the other car. So I think Coda will be just as good as, well, okay. I think that maybe there is some stock in what you're saying. It might not be as good because it was the first race of the road course. I still think it'll be a good race. Whereas these other road courses we had this year were not very good. Like, what was the second road race we went to? Was it Sonoma?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, Sonoma was not a good race.
No.
Sonoma was poopy doo doo.
Yeah.
Like which Sonoma hasn't really done anything for me in a long time.
It's fair.
Sonoma
to me is a track that always can be good, and even if we get one that's maybe a little, I mean, it hasn't been great. I thought last year's race was fun, but to be fair, the 5 and the 9 had a big battle, and they got to.
I don't even remember that. I remember being bored.
Really?
Yeah, but then again, I don't remember 100%.
It was the 5 car dominating, so I could be totally off base. And that race actually was awful. I do not know.
Yeah, the Sonoma was not great. Obviously, it was a little bit masked in my eyes because of Daniel Suarez being the winner. Watkins Glen was not anything to write home about.
It was the next closest one to Coda, but it wasn't that close.
I don't even think it was. The Roval or Indianapolis was terrible, awful. Like that was a masquerade of a race. That's what, 1, 2, 3 more.
Road America.
Road America was terrible. Glad it's off the schedule.
I thought Road America was okay.
I thought Road America was bad.
For this season, this Road America was not that much worse than Sonoma or.
It wasn't any better.
It wasn't any better, but at least we had an on-track like battle for the win under green.
No, I'd hardly call that a battle.
He ran him down. He had to get by him.
He passed him on pit road.
No, he didn't. He passed him on the track.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah, and that's what it was, and it was okay. I remember.
I saw another video today where someone said the pass for the win was on pit road. I was like, what fucking race were you watching?
Either way, like it wasn't.
It was right after the pit stops.
It wasn't. I guess you could say it wasn't any worse than the other road courses, but it wasn't any better. 2021 sucked as well, so
it's fair.
Glad Coda's off the schedule, or not Coda, Road America. Watkins Glen, like we just said, Roval was terrible. Charlotte Roval was bad until the end. It got exciting because different tire strategy, and then it was just utterly disappointing for me.
So super
road
speedways
racing.
are super speedways are meh. Road racing meh.
They better fix it.
Yeah.
Dude, they better fix it. Like it's unacceptable because it groups into short track racing. Short track racing was essentially the same. Like we didn't see any. The only thing worth a shit in short tracks this year was Richmond, in my opinion. Both of them were entertaining to me, and everyone, the general populations, didn't think it was anything special by any means.
It wasn't anything special. It
wasn't anything special, but everybody, the general opinion of it was that Richmond sucked. And
I'm not shocked. I don't agree with it, but I'm not shocked that was.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, you can't have that be.
But it could have been better.
I mean, that makes up what, 6? And 6, that makes up 12. A third of your schedule sucked.
Well, it's 11 because we're not counting. If we're not counting Bristol Dirt as a short track race, then that's only 11.
Oh, that's right.
That race was the best of the tracks under a half mile.
Well, that was a dirt race. Yeah, they nailed the dirt package. I thought that was fun.
They did nail the dirt
package. Now, if they could just keep it every year where they just keep watering down the track because it's raining, that'd be awesome. Which is Bristol in March, so or April, whenever it was. So it
could happen for sure.
Yeah, it definitely could happen. But
run this race on a fucking Saturday night, though. I know that
intermediates though, they nailed it.
They got better.
They nailed it. I thought it was great. Oh, intermediates were great. Seth hates them because you might have to push somebody on a restart, and so that makes the entire race terrible. Yeah.
You have to run it like fucking Daytona for the first 2 laps.
That makes the entire race and every other lap of the race just terrible.
No, it doesn't make every lap of the race terrible. It makes the fact that they push having as many of these fucking restarts as possible every week, and this is the most important thing. You can work your way up from 7th to 2nd on a fucking green flag run, get a caution, don't get the right push, you're back in fucking 5th because you can't do anything. You literally can't do anything. And you got to work your way back through there and waste a bunch of time.
I feel like it's only at Kansas and like Vegas. I don't remember it being an issue at Charlotte.
No, it wasn't that big an issue at Charlotte, but
it wasn't that big of an issue at Homestead or California.
It was definitely an issue at California.
It was an issue at Michigan. I don't remember it being an issue at California.
It was definitely an issue at Michigan. California was less you needed a push and more you could just side draft the fuck out of someone for 2 laps.
That's California. That's kind of how California's always been.
I guess, but the amount of speed they got scrubbed off from doing that. It's obviously you're going to scrub speed off doing that.
I mean, what do you want them to do? It's
put
air.
More fucking horsepower in the car.
I mean,
that's what I want them to do. It isn't that fucking hard. Everything we have said about this package, fine. Everything we have said.
Stop yelling, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God! You're the one that egging me onto this. Everything I have complained about, other than the Super Speedway package.
I understand your frustrations, but at California in particular, it hasn't mattered how much horsepower we have. It has always been like this. It is always. I watched the 2007 California race recently. It was the exact same thing. It was you side draft the shit out of somebody.
Yes, you do side draft the shit out of somebody, but it should not.
Back when they were running the Twisted Sisters and all that,
it wasn't so detrimental that a guy from a second back caught you.
You can't have fun with anything.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
It's you got to nitpick, man. You just got to nitpick at everything. You got to everything.
They gave us 120 horsepower back. Seth better be happy. But why doesn't Seth like that?
Well, again, they gave us something back, so let's take that, and then if we keep at this for a little bit, then yeah, all right, that's annoying, but you got to be in the moment. You got to.
I was in the moment.
We're working towards making it better.
Are we? Are we working towards making it better?
It sounds like it. We got one of our most successful and influential owners
Yes, I'm
screaming for
hoping.
more horsepower. We got both the
Then this is the
highest
time.
highest executives in the sport speaking about how they want to how there's a need to make short tracks and road courses better. So I
Okay.
mean,
Then this is the time to be going in on it. As a fan, this is the time for me to be talking about how important this is to me as a
I
fan.
don't give a shit about what we say.
I thought we got shit done on this podcast.
Hey, we do, but
This is the
it's
time.
a
Would road courses be fixed entirely with more horsepower? No, because we have too much. The tires are too wide, brakes are too good. Would short tracks be fixed with more horsepower? More than likely. Yeah. If we had 850, 900.
diffusers, man. Diffusers. That's our problem. Shifting and diffusers.
So
Shifting and
shifting would
diffusers.
be just about taken care of at a place like Martinsville with 850. Just about.
Yeah.
And you would have enough horsepower to get up off the corner.
I don't feel like it would. I don't think it would take care of your diffuser problem.
I don't think it would completely take care of your diffuser problem, but it would help.
It would help. I think. Here's the thing.
It'd be kind of like having that giant ass spoiler back in like 2014.
Well, listen. How much do them diffusers cost?
Oh god, didn't Denny Hamlin say they were like 30 grand?
Okay, no, those the whole underbody of the car costs 30 grand.
Oh.
I bet the diffuser itself costs a hefty 10 or 15 at least.
Probably.
I mean, I would imagine that road courses and short tracks are maybe the hardest on diffusers. Well, take them off. Take them off. Just make them a separate piece from the floor pan. Can't be that hard. All you gotta do is cut it, throw a few bolts in there. I'm sure that's completely not how that works, but I'm gonna pretend that's how it works.
Yeah,
and I feel like that would save teams some money because I feel like that's the main thing that gets destroyed on at least road courses is the diffusers from the underbody of the cars. So I feel like that would save some money just taking the diffusers off, and then we don't have to worry about dirty air. You throw, 100, 200, 300 extra horsepower in there, and we let them rip. And I think we got the best racing product we ever seen. I mean, dude, yeah, I get it. We need more horsepower. We're moving in the right direction, I hope. And also when we get this new motor, it'll be a lot better too.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I get the whole restart, thing, but like
restarts are such a pivotal part of cup racing nowadays because we have 2 guaranteed ones per every race, and they will throw a yellow for pretty much anything. Look at the All-Star race.
Unless Harvick's needing to win the race.
Unless Harvick needs one. So yeah, and they try and it seems like they try and make as many of them happen late in a race as possible. And it's really frustrating to watch a guy, I don't care if I like him or not, to watch a guy who clearly earned running up front in this race get shuffled because you have to have a help on a restart all the time. That drives me crazy. That used to be something we only did 4 times a year. And it was fine because we only did it 4 times a year. And now it seems like it's about half the schedule.